of federal government's commitment to deal with dynamics of insecurity. And World Health Organization donates vehicles to FCT Health Secretariat to enhance operations. Hello there, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the news at 7 on NTA Channel 5, Abuja. My name is Tessie Mary with the details. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, at the 7th edition of the ongoing ministerial press briefing, reaffirmed that the federal government has developed a holistic approach to deal with the dynamics of insecurity and guarantee the safety of lives and property in Nigeria. To fast-track the needed results and sustain successes, he advocated a synergy between the civil population and relevant security agencies. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara has more.
Since the inception of the current administration, the hope of Nigerians has been high and ambitious as the policies of the Renewed Hope agenda. As the custodian of the Renewed Hope document, the Ministry of Information and National Orientation is coordinating this forum where members of the Federal Executive Council present their scorecards within the last 24 months. As he ushered in his colleagues from the Ministries of Environment and Defense, the host minister, in solidarity with his guest, says terrorists or acts of terrorism do not deserve sympathy from the media.
I therefore call on my colleagues, or media professionals and editors, to be discerning in their reportage. We must deny these groups the undue publicity they crave. We must take them off the front pages and accurately report them as the criminals that they are, without glorifying their acts or giving credence to their false narratives. These, of course, are not freedom fighters. They are murderers, kidnappers, and destroyers, and they must be presented as such.
Several ministers have appeared on this platform, which remains active to address the public. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
And in the same vein, policies of the current administration on economic recovery and infrastructural development are gradually yielding the desired results as every geopolitical zone of the nation is being carried along. Kenneth Nanim reports that Works Minister David Umahi leveraged the opportunity of a solidarity visit by the Renewed Hope strategic stakeholders to explain federal government's efforts towards uniting economic corridors of Nigeria through massive road projects across the nation.
Though united by the progressive mantra, the issues on the front burner here are of national interest. Works Minister David Umahi explains that the federal government is building massive infrastructure as the lifewire of development that connects people and economies, ensuring sustainability of agribusiness value chain, human capital development, commerce and industry, services and investments alike.
What the president did is to direct that we should prioritize all the inherited projects along the economic corridor of the nation. And we came up with about 440, to give life to. And of course, the president started over 65 projects, new projects, all within the economic corridor of the nation. And you start with the 4 legacy projects. And I've always said that the 4 legacy projects are not just road and bridges, projects. They are investments.
To ensure quality work is delivered to Nigerians, especially those at the state and community levels, adequate supervision of the projects is key, and the party chieftains therefore seek partnership with the ministry.
I've always watched how you get to sites, and where you are not satisfied with the contractors, you take immediate action. Your Excellency, we want to be the catalyst towards those actions.
Urging Nigerians to support President Bola Tinubu's administration and his commitment towards Nigeria's unity and economic resuscitation. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Surveillance and emergency response remains critical in public health. With emerging and re-emerging health threats, stakeholders say it is imperative to prioritize robust surveillance systems to protect communities. This, the mandate Secretary for Health and Environment Services Secretariat, Dr. Adedolapo Fasheri, reveals as the Secretariat receives 8 utility vehicles from World Health Organization as part of efforts to strengthen disease surveillance in the territory. Aisha Uba Ali captured the handing over event and now reports.
A small gathering of people with same vision and shared dreams, which is tackling public health issues through emergency preparedness and response. The theme, the World Health Organization, the FCT Health and Environment Services Secretariat, and Africa Center for Disease Control. The presentation is symbolic as the partners think it's important to adopt a workable solution that can address public health crisis, the reason for the donation.
The glory of God.
The search program is to see how FCT can improve on its surveillance system. With 6 states and FCT being the beneficiaries, the strengthening and utilizing response groups for emergency search is to help FCT and other states in mobility and rapid deployment capacity.
We are gathering to mark an important milestone in our collective effort to strengthen emergency preparedness and response in the Federal Capital Territory, which is the official handover of 8 utility vehicles to the Federal Capital Territory Administration. This is in support of the AVOC Surge Flagship Initiative.
The federal government is trying to fully in the support of emergency preparedness and response. When we have resource constraint, we are happy again that we have partners who are coming to our aid. Partners like WHO, Africa Cities, UNICEF, etc. Let me say again, WHO has been fantastic.
Mandate Secretary, Health and Environment Services Secretariat, Dr. Adedolapo Fasheri, says investing in disease surveillance translates to investing in collective health security of FCT residents.
I thank WHO and all partners for making this come true. It is not when emergencies happen that we react. Preparedness includes surveillance, it includes teamwork, it includes group work, it includes being able to activate certain protocols.
She said monitoring disease trends, identifying hotspots can assist to track transmission patterns and inform evidence-based policies. Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
And from health, let's talk politics. The All Progressives Congress in the Federal Capital Territory says its strength lies in the unity among members. This is as the FCT Reconciliation Committee continues its proactive steps to give every member and stakeholder a sense of belonging. The committee this time around was in Kuje Area Council, as Rosemary Moto-Bilal tells us more on the outcome of the meeting.
Efforts of this committee to penetrate the area councils is a demonstration of a resolve not to leave anything to chance since the commencement of its assignment. Clearly, the strategic backing of the Ministers of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Zapania Bitrus Gisalo, and his counterparts of the FCT, Dr. Maria Mahmoud, stakeholders say is paying off as new members embrace the APC family in Kuje in order for the people to enjoy more infrastructural development of the federal government in the council.
We cannot afford to lose the forthcoming election. And the only panacea for us to do that is to ensure harmony and peaceful coexistence among ourselves. As you can see in this world, we have all resolved to always be one voice and ensure that APC form the next government by the grace of God.
This blend of seasoned politicians have engaged extensively with the grassroots with a clear message of a more level playing ground for all.
I want to tell you Abuja is not an exception, but we're going to lead in the next election as far as the APC is concerned, because he's from Abuja and he's setting the pace towards a sustainable APC in FCT.
We want to see how we can unify everybody so that we always begin to speak and act with one voice. We want to take over Abuja Area Council from the reign of PDP.
Let the masses of Abuja Area Council decide for themselves who they felt is capable of leading them in this Abuja Area Council. And I'm pretty sure that the leadership of Abuja Area Council will do justice to that.
Others pointed to the visible infrastructural development achieved under APC leadership as a compelling reason for party's unity, describing the meeting as productive and beneficial one to the committee's mission, as engagements are expected to consolidate on what has been achieved so far. Rosemary Moltelen Bilal, NTA News.
Now to religion. Some Abuja-based Islamic scholars say there is the need for government to come up with a department that will coordinate inter-religious activities in the country as a way of curbing religious extremism that has remained a concern to be addressed. These were the views expressed by speakers in an interview with religious correspondent Abdullahi Ajia, where they say religion is one aspect of Nigeria's life that must not be left without proper coordination and monitoring. The clerics maintain that religious leaders should always be guided in their interpretation of the scriptures so as not to mislead their followers.
Yes. The government has people who control sporting activities. There are people who control culture. There's National Council of Culture. But we do not have a department that can look into the way we do things religiously in this country. Government need to do something. Our greatest exploit or exports in this country, whether we like it or not, is religion. Nigeria is one of the most blessed countries in which we have a sizable number of Christians and Muslims at the same time. If that is it, we need to come together. The government must have a department that will not control, but will regiment, or will look into, or perfect the way these religious things are being practiced.
The religious leaders remind all to model after the life and teachings of Prophet Muhammad's demonstration of tolerance, love, and peaceful coexistence despite differences in
A religious leader should also by his action and by his relationship to people, he should be able to be setting a standard of what God himself wants from him and what God wanted from other people.
No extremism. You cannot guide a person. You cannot push somebody to your own line. Just do your best, preach harmony, preach tolerance, and leave guidance to God. What you think is your own guidance, somebody may think differently about it. So the only way to curb extremism is to apply this wisdom of guidance is from the Almighty, and remain tolerant, remain respectful to any other contradictory belief other than yours. This is the only way out. We tolerate one another, we live harmoniously with one another, we appreciate other people's perspective while we hold to our own belief.
India's charge is that continuous knowledge and exposure will go a long way in addressing the issue and doctrine of religious extremism and its attendant consequences.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, one person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, one person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary healthcare center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
Let's now join our sports desk for Sports Brief.
Super Eagles head coach Eric Soke Chile has arrived in Egypt to motivate the Flying Eagles ahead of their crucial group stage match against Kenya at the ongoing Under-20 African Cup of Nations. The France-born tactician joined the team on Tuesday just in time for their final group game on Wednesday. Nigeria, a 7-time champion of the tournament, currently sits second in their group with 4 points, trailing Morocco only on goal difference. A draw against Kenya will secure the Flying Eagles spot in the knockout stage, but winning would not only guarantee their progression but also potentially top the group if Morocco and Tunisia's match ends in a draw or Tunisia wins. The Flying Eagles are aiming to reach the knockout stage for the 9th consecutive tournament, and avoiding defeat will mark their 8th time completing the group stage unbeaten. Meanwhile, Inter Milan has qualified for the Champions League final after defeating Barcelona 4-3 in the second leg of their semi-final. They will face the winner of the Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal tie. In other news, British-Nigerian boxer Anthony Joshua is considering investing in Watford FC, his hometown team, as part of his long-term business ventures. Joshua, who has earned $110 million in his career, sees potential in the team and might open a shop in Watford if they return to the Premier League. Finally, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc's teamwork was questioned during the Miami Grand Prix, where they hindered each other on the track. Hamilton expressed frustration over the team radio, but later clarified his comments were sarcastic, emphasizing his desire to win. With Sports Brief, Wayne Lugo, NTA News.
And that Sports Brief concludes the English version of the news. Stay tuned for the translation in other languages. Thank you for watching. Good evening.
magbaje shaje wo na ya bi bada ya sakoi ba ku shagbadai iwo anaba shi ba bada wo mu president ba yuba wani wa je a na ba ye go kaye ne na ye gwamnati ke na minister bada gwamnati atiteji gwamnati ke inge minister bada gwamnati atiteji ba nya na yi wo inge Muhammad Idris wo ku bada da ye ge gwamnati ke puta hwanya dugwad na gmai kwadai inge bala puta mana la washi kwashi abin kwai shigbe aza kasa aza wi ikiye nge Salihu Abdullahi wadai inge minister ibe dabada da sanu wabe dabada na baji goga atatishi wa godu wala yi mbage kala ige yisubwado na gwamnati atatishi inge abusubida abada kawida na za azagui atatu maji ajeyi banya inge abanu kweji ya inge kwenye asukun ba ami babo aji bashigbe na baya mi ya waje na wi pepe inge azaji bodo ya be na nyai na zanu kwei batawu ekie ya siasa gbedogu nagban APC ekizigna pata nya hwanya babe yeji nagban nkuje gwamnati bibi sapa kwala puta mane la nkwe ngugiche na kwefi kwafi aza baji abaji APC gbedogu ye hwa dudu batu aza ba gaba tutu na baye aza bebedo aza babe mbanya nge mnajinya to baeze aja abu Rosemary Murtali Bila wada nge APC za ada azanagmai ekezi denya bala azatnu basase mbai basase na je ekezi de pata hwia dudu na bai awo aje buba az aje abui azaza gisu bagodu nge ata lokun ngbe kakai tuge atanu nkun yebo ngbe kakai bade naji baye balagbodo baje zaza na bayi baje bako nasarabwa ya ko bele na je gwamnati kinzi na nai nyasa atutu jimba nyaka inje Dr. Adeto Lapo Fasewi wadai inge owu atutu jimba nyasa shigbeji sapa lab majibwa ngachiai ina anyi bodogu nai nyasa shigbeji nya ko ku inge amatoga ogun imwa kwache babwa baje balo inge aza ayo kaya bodo na ayo gagai lo nai nyasa sapa nchei Aisha Ubali wale shebai wada inge zana gmanye la walawu ayi bodogu maje piai we wodo ge amate ye bai wi imwa babache babwa lo anyasa shigbeji nutnu ikizidna ye mwa ngachi ai hwia dudu ba je na lafiya eyi ko gba bada ya bi amma gba ya zaje yi baji na baji wo so shekwa sai
ẹ kálẹ́ o ìròyìn ló dé sí etí gbòyìn láti lè ṣe amóhùnmáwòrán ìkànnì karùnún làbújá ọláyínká adéníjì ni oníròyìn yín mínísítà tó ń ṣètò etígbọ̀ àti ìgbòkègbodò ìròyìn lórílẹ̀‐èdè nàìjíríà ìyẹn Muhammad Idris níbi ìpàdé pọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn oníròyìn ẹlẹ́ẹ̀keje irú rẹ̀ sọ di mímọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí wípé ìjọba àpapọ̀ ti ṣètò ọ̀nà àbáyọ mìíràn tí ó fi mú kí ààbò tó péye ó gbilẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀mí àti dúkìá àwọn ènìyàn lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí bó ti wù kó rí. Aṣojúkọ̀ròyìn wa Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara ṣàlàyé wípé mínísítà náà fi kún nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ wípé kí ètò yìí ó lè múnádóko láìsí àní-àní àwọn aráàlú àti àwọn elétò ààbò gbọ́dọ̀ wà ní àjùmọ̀ṣepọ̀ tó mọ́yán lórí. Àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC ẹ̀ka tìlú Àbújá ti sọ di mímọ̀ wípé ìfẹ́ ìmùlẹ̀ láàrin àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ló jẹ òun lógún èyí gan ni àkórí ọ̀rọ̀ ní ìjọba àbílẹ̀ Kùjé níbi tí àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ alábẹ́sẹ́kẹ́lé májèúbàjẹ́ ti ṣèpàdé pọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ọ̀hún lórí kó lè dáa gẹ́gẹ́ bí aṣojúkọ̀ròyìn wa Rosemary Mutemlen Bila ṣe jábọ̀. Ètò ojúmító àti ààbò tó nípọn nígẹ̀ jẹ́ ohun kan gbòógì lórí ètò ìlera aráàlú látàrí lílọ bíbọ̀ irúfẹ́ àrùn tó gbòde kan. Ọ̀rọ̀ ṣùnùkùn yìí ni àwọn àgbà ògbóǹtarìgì fojú ṣùnùkùn wò tí wọ́n sì fìdí rẹ̀ múlẹ̀ wípé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ wá wọ̀rọ̀kọ̀ fi ṣàdá lórí ọ̀rọ̀ náà. Èyí ló jẹ jáde nínú ọ̀rọ̀ alákòóso iléeṣẹ́ tó ń ṣètò ìlera aráàlú àti àbójútó agbègbè ìlú Àbújá ọ̀mọ̀wé Adédọlápọ̀ Fáṣàwẹ̀ nígbà tó ń ṣètẹ́wọ́gbà mọ́tò 8 bọ̀gìnì láti ọwọ́ àjọ tó ń ṣètò ìlera lágbàáyé ìyẹn WHO láti máa fi ṣe kòkáárí àti ìgbòkègbodò ètò ìlera fún àwọn aráàlú Àbújá. Aisha Uba Ali aṣojúkọ̀ròyìn wa ló jábọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ yìí láti ibi ayẹyẹ náà. Torí ọ̀hún kò ní jù báyìí lọ o. Imú lónìí kọ́ńbó, agbọ̀n ọ̀sàlẹ̀ lónìí họ́wùhọ́wù. Èmi rẹ̀ lájọ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà yìí o. Ẹ jẹ́ àṣekó dára, ọ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan láàjì o, ká sùn láyọ̀.